I mean, I literally named my company in motion. It's not in static. Like I literally have to be doing something.
Our brains weren't designed to be able to comprehend what heaven is. It says in the Bible, we cannot, as humans, we cannot comprehend what comes next.
There's something about the energy that the heart is producing that is scientifically proven. Like the energy that is being released from your heart is order of magnitude greater than the energy in your brain. I come from an entrepreneurial family, and like I've started a few businesses when I was in university, and like it's just always been in my blood. Oh, cool. Oh shit, we gotta film that.
Get a video! Get a video!
There's like a chopper.
Oh my gosh! Is that a police officer?
CEO InMotion. CEO InMotion. CEO InMotion. CEO InMotion.
Let's go.
Am I ready? Is
I
it
hope so.
on my cue?
We're going.
Woo! Oh my gosh!
Welcome to the CEO InMotion.
This is so fun.
Podcast.
So fun. Podcast. Photo shoot.
We're filming. We're live.
We're live.
Guys, have fun.
This is so cool.
Huh? I think their Uber's coming, and you're the one getting interviewed.
I don't care. They can put the suitcase in there.
All right.
Okay.
Let me turn this off on the do not disturb. Ladies.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what to do.
Piece of my hair already fell out.
All right. Piece of your hair fell out?
Yeah, a piece of my hair
They
fell
were
out.
doing a photo shoot. Let's go.
All right.
I love doing some fun stuff.
Oh, socks. Yeah, sure. I'll take those. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm probably the most chaotic guest that you've had on your podcast.
It really was like unexpected. Like I didn't know what you were doing, and so we'll get into all of that.
Oh yeah.
So simple rules. Let me know if this is flashing. That means it's filming. That's your camera. That's our camera.
Okay.
This is my camera.
Awesome. I need to check out my
It'll
hair.
go like dark just to save battery.
Oh. How cool is this?
But we're filming.
We're filming.
So
Thanks for
I looked at your agenda today. You're a busy bee.
Yeah. All right. So they got the suitcase in.
They got your stuff.
Good.
People are gonna be wondering what suitcase. What are they talking?
Suitcase?
Who
What
are they putting
talking
in the
about?
trunk?
Who are they putting in the trunk? There's no bodies, just weights.
So tell us your name and why you're here in Vegas.
My name is Amy Barrie. I'm actually in Vegas for a couple of different reasons. I thought I would knock a few birds out with one stone. But obviously, Mass Tort's made perfect. I'm with Broughton Partners. I do case acquisition and consulting for Mass Tort firms in the Mass Tort area. But then I'm also launching my own clothing line.
There we go.
The Promise Collection. And my favorite photographer moved from Calgary to Vegas. Her name is Ashley AJK on Instagram. That's actually not.
Is that
her
the
Instagram.
photographer?
Yeah.
She's
so
awesome.
Good.
I just met her. She's amazing.
She's so good. You live here, right?
I do. We connected. We live in Summerlin. We're like 5 minutes neighbors from each other.
She is.
I love that. She is super cool.
She is unreal. She's actually a Playboy model photographer. So all of her stuff is like really high-end, classy, like boudoir.
So let's stop there. So,
yeah.
So short answer, we're here for a lawyer conference. But then Amy said, you know, pick me up here. Just give me an address. I had no idea. I show up. It's like a random building. There's really nothing behind it, and I'm waiting, and
it's like dragons and gargoyles inside.
Well, first, I'm just waiting outside, like, and I'm just waiting in my car, and then I was like, could this be it? And then there was a guy that came out, and I just said, excuse me, is this the address? And then he's like, yeah. I was like, I'm looking for somebody. He's like, who? I was like, is Amy by any chance? He goes, oh yeah, she's in the back. And all of a sudden the door opens, and there is like a dungeon in there with like paintings and this and dragons, and there's like a miniature horse, and I go in the back, and you girls are doing like a full-on photo shoot.
Yeah, it was wild. I walked in there in the morning. I was like, is this the right place?
It is amazing. So the photographer had everything, but then what really like shocked me more is that like Chloe was there, and I was like, wait, I know you, and I was like, wait, what's going on here? I didn't know you guys. I didn't know what you were doing. So I didn't know you were having your friends model your clothing.
The clothes, yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Well, I've never done anything like this before, so I'm literally just shooting at the hip and like figuring it out. And so, yeah, I like decided to finally launch this at Tony Robbins with Date with Destiny in December.
Firewalker, baby.
Firewalker, yes.
There's so much that we can just even go in that direction.
So much.
So
yeah.
You and I met in San Diego. We met in San Diego at a.
Is that where we met?
Yeah, in one of the conferences, one of these lawyer conferences. It must have been like 2 years ago, whatever it was. But I remember because we were dancing and there was like a group of people like dancing, and that's when you and I like met. And I'm sure Chloe too, because she's a dancer.
She's a dancer. I was probably just like bopping.
Yeah, but the fun thing is like these lawyer conferences, like they're just fun, and so now you went to the Tony Robbins, and now you have a purpose, which we talked last time we met.
Yeah. I've actually been a platinum partner for 3 years with Tony.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and I come from an entrepreneurial family, and like I've started a few businesses when I was in university, and like it's just always been in my blood, and I've known deep rooted, I've always known that I'm gonna build something. But like what we've talked about before, I think the word that defines my life is purpose. And
That's a good word.
yeah, and I've been obsessed with finding my purpose in life. And if I'm not passionate about something, like I just know that that's not on my purpose road, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Did you ever read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari?
You told me to read that book, and
It's amazing because
read that
there's a
book.
line in that book that I have underlined with a star, and it says, "The purpose of life is to live a life of purpose."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like underlining that, and I was like, okay, so the purpose of life is to live a life of purpose, and the
Yeah.
purpose changes per person. It's not it's specific, and that's what I love about that
Yeah.
you just have to find what it is that God gave you as a talent, and you give that to the world.
Yeah. No, and like that, the way that I break it down is like the purpose of life is to love. Literally, if you study every single religion in the whole entire world, they all have the basic understanding and common theme of love, right? Like comparing Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Catholicism, Christianity, when you boil it down to its simplest purpose, it's to love, right? And so like what we're put on this earth to do, I personally believe that every single person was born for a divine purpose. Like our life isn't made by accident. Nobody's life is.
I like that.
But not everybody reaches their purpose in life because they don't choose to achieve it. They don't choose
Do you
to...
believe in reincarnation then as a result? Like if people don't get to that purpose, do you believe people come back and get another chance at a different...
I personally don't. I don't know. I've never died before. So like I can't be like, I'm right, you're wrong. But like what I believe is biblical, like what's in the Bible, right? And that's like the only thing I can go off of. But you know, I believe that each and every one of us has special gifts and talents and abilities and, you know, spiritual gifts. But like I said before, not everybody taps into those gifts, or, you know, sometimes they do, and then there's like that battle of, you know, good and evil. I truly do believe that there's a spiritual battle going on for all of us. And
individually and as a society.
Yeah, individually as a society.
Part of the
like,
world.
Like
I see it for sure.
If you believe in energy, right?
Oh, absolutely. Everything to me
Yeah,
comes down to that.
Yeah, like I'm a Christian, but I totally believe in energy. It's, I think the person...
You can feel it when you walk into a room.
Oh, yeah.
If the energy is negative, people actually even say that, like, oh, it feels like there's a negative thing. But they don't even know what's going on. They were not there before. You just feel it. And I think our body and our intuition is meant to be receptive of those things.
Totally.
It's meant to understand. At the same time, like like I walked into you guys just now, and like the energy was going. Like I was like, oh, this is good. Like I had no idea what was going on, but obviously you guys were having fun. You guys are taking the photo shoot, and it's meaningful to you. Your friends are there. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
I didn't know the photographer was also your friend, or that you've known her.
Yeah, I've known Ashley for like 10 years when I was in university.
She's very talented. I quickly
talented.
looked at her Instagram because she sent me a DM, and she's like, neighbor. Well, she's like, well, you really can help my friends, and I was like, dude, I'll be your assistant photographer, because I was taking pictures of her, taking pictures of you.
You need to take my watch off. My watch is dinging.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
First of all, that's why you're very put together. I'm just this is as good as it gets.
This is the most makeup I've ever had on in my life.
This is as good as it gets.
I feel like I need to peel my skin off.
I want to stop real quick to grab like an energy drink at some place, get you some water, because I'm sure you've been like.
I literally bought a 24 flat of water and I left it there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't imagine how many, like, you have the lights flashing on your face. I mean,
so
that was a cool
hot.
set. Like, that was a cool little place.
Yeah. She really knocked it out of the park. I just wish we had more time.
It's massive. So, I mean, we started with a purpose right now. We started with a party. We started with a purpose.
Listen.
So right now we're gonna take a quick pause while we get some energy drinks and
we'll get coffee. I like ordered a Starbucks coffee to the shoot.
Oh, did you want me to go take it?
No. This is perfect. And you bought me like a little miniature midget-sized Starbucks. I was like, okay, fine, this will do.
Who did?
I guess I ordered it off of Uber. Yeah, because you're just like going so fast.
So how long were you guys in there?
I've been there since 10.
Whoa, it's 4 o'clock.
I can't believe it's 4 o'clock.
You did 6 hours and you thought that was not enough time?
No.
So I only saw one outfit. Were you guys changing outfits?
Yeah.
I saw that you have a fitness Instagram page.
Yes.
That's the one that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, well, I only know that it exists because you just reposted your post.
Yeah.
And I was trying to answer the repost, and then I realized that it's from the other account. So tell us about the new account.
Well, in January, remember coming up to the booth at National Trial Lawyers, and I was asking you for advice because I kind of wanted to hire you.
Yeah.
And then I've been able to grow my page from 0 followers to, I know this isn't crazy, but 4,000.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Since January?
Since January 28th.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. I have like 3 posts.
2 months.
Yeah.
Really, 2 months.
I've had like 3 posts that went viral. This has like 2,200 likes, almost 2,300. And
is that the one? So you pinned it. Okay, so let's just start driving so that we're
But then
out of the shitty parking lot.
Has close to 10,000 likes.
What does it say?
It's three ways that how I developed my relationship to Christ. And people just go off on it.
What are the views on each of these? I mean,
this has view insights. I'll teach you. 1,400 saved, almost 1,500 saved.
And 157,000
plays.
Views, okay. That's awesome. That's a big deal.
3,400 shares.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
it's really, really cool.
So let's get into this. Okay, so you're entrepreneur at heart. You obviously know about Tony Robbins. You understand living of purpose. You understand that living is giving, and there's a whole there's a whole area about when you do good for others, the world will return that. And so in your case, you have experience with fitness. So let's get to that background. What's your experience in the fitness world?
Yeah, so I've been an athlete my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like sports?
Downhill ski racing. I played volleyball for 10 years. I did Irish dancing for a few years.
That was Irish dancing?
Irish dancing is like, the soft shoe and you keep your arms straight, and like the hard shoe, like yeah.
Oh, that's hardcore. Doesn't that like make your legs super strong and like?
Yeah, well, that's why my thighs are so big. Like downhill ski racing, horseback
people can't
riding.
See, but the thighs are strong.
Yeah, big thighs save lives, right? But yeah, I actually tore my rotator cuff in a skiing accident, and I had a volleyball scholarship for my first year of school. But then after tearing my shoulder, they were like, well, you can sit redshirt, and I was like, screw that. Which kind of made me get into bodybuilding.
Okay.
And then so I started bodybuilding my first year of university, but really the biggest reason why I got into fitness, like in the gym fitness, was, I don't know if I told you this, but my dad passed away when I was 16. And that's just like kind of how I grieved. That
was your pivotal.
Yeah, I just like shut everyone out. I grew up in a family where I'm kind of the only girl and the youngest, and emotions weren't really talked about when I was younger, and like communication, we were not taught how to communicate in my whole family. And so if I just shut down, put on a hard exterior, and just like that makes Amy okay. Nobody has to worry about me.
You went into a shell.
Yeah, and so the gym was such a huge outlet for me to be able to go to school, not have to go home, go to the gym, just be in the gym, do like a workout class that they had there. CrossFit is actually kind of how I got into it. And it was the first time in my life where I wasn't in a team sport. Like, it wasn't a team dependent thing to win. Like, it was just me, myself, and I.
Yeah, bodybuilding depends on the bodybuilder.
Me.
The person, yeah.
Yeah.
On Amy, okay.
So I went like 0 to 100 very, very quickly.
Were
like,
you close with your dad?
So close. Like, he was my, we did everything together. And my mom is more like a sister to me, and growing up, we had a very toxic relationship, and like, it was always kind of me and my dad on a team, where my mom is very, well, I'm very quiet and reserved, kind of like my dad is in some situations, where my mom is like very emotional and very like loud and, goofy. She's like the, class clown kind of thing, where, my dad and I were kind of the more like reserved ones.
No siblings?
My brother's 15 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why your mom is like your sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if my mom and I got in fights when I was younger, it was always like I would explain my side to my dad, and he would be like, that makes sense. And so that was kind of like the family dynamic. It was like, anyways. So yeah, long story short, my dad and I were super, super tight. He did all my sports with me. He took me to everything. And so yeah, losing him was like a really,
It changes. My dad passed also when I was 20 in college.
I think, yeah.
And it was like, it changes a person. But I didn't have a very close relationship with him, so I try to frame on the level of closeness, and when you're as close as you are, it changes. So then, the tragedy happens with your dad. You're young. I mean, 16 is young. Yeah. And you dive into yourself. Yeah. Your bodybuilding. You get into sports.
Yeah. I just grew up really quick, but my dad had like this amazing faith. Like, he was such a God-fearing man, and he was. I just had a lot of respect for him, and so. He always taught me, he's like, never work for anybody else, like always start your own business, like you need to rely on yourself.
Was he an entrepreneur too?
Oh yeah, like my whole family is entrepreneurs.
What did your dad do?
He did life insurance, so he owned his own business in life insurance. But like started his own landscaping company in university. Like, he bought 2 houses when he was in university, but mind you, it was like, 10 grand, 15 grand.
Don't matter. Like, that's not what I was thinking when I was,
but like, yeah, so he just like, he was a hustler and grinder kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, my brother's entrepreneurs, like my uncles, my aunts, like everything. And so, in university I was a part of a clothing line called Andra. So we sold like weightlifting belts, we sold t-shirts, leggings, that kind of thing. That's how I met Ashley, was because I would take my clothing line into different fitness competing shows.
Ashley, the photographer?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, coming
You're
full
like,
circle.
what are we talking
Yeah. I'm like, which Ashley? Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you met her. So you know her from long time ago, and she's seen your progress.
Yeah.
Did you ever compete then?
I competed for 3 years.
What kind of competitions? Because I know there's a bunch of...
I did bikini.
Did
I
you?
didn't do like the whole like, you know,
Yeah, all jacked.
bodybuilding. Yeah.
Did you do
no.
bikini? Was that like, how is that? Like, is it, like, are people like catty in that world? Are people like supportive?
I mean,
Was it difficult to not eat, to overeat? Like, I really don't know like what it takes.
I mean, I won my first show, but
You won?
yeah, when I was 18.
Wait, we gotta put pictures. We'll throw in some
Okay,
pictures
yeah,
right
we'll
now of those.
long
Do you still
pictures.
have them?
Yeah, like way scrolled down on my Instagram, but I was so broke I couldn't even afford like a professional photographer when I did them. So I have like
How long ago was this? This is super cool. You won a bikini competition.
Yeah,
Like, that's amazing.
2013.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on the
Oh, wow.
poster for the show.
That's great. Did
Yeah.
you go next year and be like, listen, I don't want to say
I
that.
got dead.
Listen, girls, like,
Yeah.
I am, you know, the winner. Did you go to the second year?
I mean,
or third year? How
yeah,
many years did you do? 3?
I did it for 3 years. My last show, I got dead last.
Wait, you went from first to last?
First to dead last. Yeah.
What happened to the girls in between? Like, did they just like...
Well, listen, I got like 3 eating disorders during that whole time. I had body dysmorphia, like, and also I was going through that whole grieving stage of
You
my
went through
dad.
stuff.
Oh yeah, I went through stuff. Yeah, I was almost homeless in university. Like, we could unwrap that whole thing, but like,
Oh, you went through some shit.
yeah,
Hey.
I couch surfed when I was in university. I refused to talk to my mom too, like for 4 years. I like,
Well, this period
Oh, yeah.
so you were grieving on your own.
yeah,
Usually when this happens, people make bad decisions. That comes with
oh yeah,
alcohol, promiscuity,
I did
drugs,
bodybuilding.
or bodybuilding. But you have also some
Yeah.
eating disorders that you were
Yeah.
talking about, and
Yeah,
that is a representation of like you just trying to fit into the different.
yeah. Because
grieve
of
the pain.
my mindset was like, I don't need anybody else. I will succeed, and nobody's gonna help me get there. And
I hope you still have that mentality for this clothing.
I mean,
like you're gonna fucking
yeah,
tear up.
no, I'm so stoked about it. But like,
Good for you.
I think that throughout that whole time, I was completely running away from God. Literally from 18 into like when I absolutely fell on my face at 22.
Your ego was taking over.
My ego, yeah,
Girl, that edge got out.
edging got out, yeah.
We're in sync and we didn't
yeah,
even know it.
I know, yeah.
That's cool.
So like, I totally isolated myself from my family. I isolated myself from my friends. Like, just me, myself, and I do whatever it takes to win. Like, my grades were slipping. I almost got kicked out of school. Like, I went through it. And then God, literally, He's such a gracious God. Like, He will let, like,
It's unwarranted grace.
yeah, my view on God or Christ is like that father-daughter relationship where it's like how a parent loves their child. God loves us so much like how a parent loves their child, but like you need to let children screw up and make mistakes in order for them to learn. And He's not a forceful father where He gives us the gift of choice. That's why He gave us the garden of, Adam and Eve, and gave us the choice, because He doesn't want to force our love on Him. That's why He created us, right? And He loves us so much that He wants to give us that choice. That's why He gave us the cross as well. And
It's unconditional. I think you
it's
see
unconditional.
it because you have such a great relationship with your dad. And
Yeah.
that's the way how you assimilate that kind of unconditional
Yeah.
love.
Totally. And so
You make me cry too.
oh, yeah, well, it's so beautiful once you start making
Unfolding,
making your faith a personal relationship, not this hierarchy that men try to force onto you. Like, man, that pisses me off.
And we were filming on, a couple of days after Easter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
how appropriate that we're doing this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And we're now on the Las Vegas Strip.
We're now on the Las Vegas Strip. But
Disneyland for adults.
Disneyland for adults. I love it. Yeah, I love
this
it.
whole thing turns different at night, which we will be.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, so you start developing a relationship. You obviously went through hard stuff during that time. What almost landed you into being like homeless?
Oh my gosh. So I lived in like a really toxic house with just like some mean girls, and
Bodybuilders too, or
no, just like, your typical like cliquey girls, and we were like, 19, 20, and because I was working so much, I was never at home. I like lived a very different lifestyle from everybody else. Like I wasn't really into the party scene at all or anything. I got just super isolated from my friend group, and I was going through so much internally. Like I had so much anxiety, a lot of depression, like body dysmorphia, which kept me in the gym, and like, so I couldn't do normal things. And I like started smoking a lot of weed in university too, because like I would take so much pre-workout late at night, or like, working so much that I couldn't sleep.
Up, yeah.
I'm like,
boom, boom.
give me the
push-ups, 2 in the morning.
I need a joint. But yeah, so like I think just the way that I isolated myself from them caused a lot of friction, and so
what was rock bottom for you? Like what was
rock bottom was
you said God came down and reached and pulled me back out?
Rock bottom was literally like when I wasn't speaking to my mom. I had no relationship with my brother. I was on so many stimulants, like caffeine, ephedrine, pre-workouts, coffees, like just like supplement abuse is what I kind of wanted. And then like yo-yo dieting and being just like, so like I had an eating disorder for sure, which like consumed my life. Like my grades totally slipped from it. So anyways, to answer your question, I packed up my stuff one night from my house that I was living in. My roommate came home absolutely drunk one night, and she threatened me with some stuff. I won't get into that, but anyways, the next day I like packed up all my stuff in garbage bags. I found a new place to crash for a few days, and then I joined a Bible study group at my school called Athletes in Action, and it was actually like the same Bible study my dad used to be a part of.
So were you apart from your faith during those whole years? Like were you still like
I
praying?
Yeah,
close?
no. Like I always had God in my life. I always had Christ in my life, but I know
just not with the actions.
No,
like I match your.
Yeah, no. Like I would, it was me who was choosing to do everything, and like I didn't read my Bible. Like I didn't. I wasn't pursuing God. I had the mindset of like, yeah, I can do this and God will forgive me and I'll still be okay at the end of it. Like, which is true, but like, it's not true. But, and so I joined this Bible study, Athletes in Action, and this.
Athletes in Action.
Yeah, so it's just
a cool name.
Yeah,
Do you have to be a bodybuilder to join?
No, you have to be an athlete at University of Calgary to join it. But since I did bodybuilding and like my past experience in volleyball, they kind of let a pass at me in. And
your dad was part of it years before.
Yeah, it used to be called Christ for Crusaders when he was in university. But yeah, so they had an opportunity for a missions trip that came up to Rwanda, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll go. So I made this bodybuilding program. It was like an 8-week program. It was a digital program that people could buy, so I just started selling that online to raise money for me to go to Rwanda.
Wait, how much were you selling it for?
Oh, like $19.99.
And people bought it, and that made money for you to go?
Yeah.
Do you remember how many you sold?
I mean, the trip was like $6,000 total, so I think
enough to cover everything.
Yeah, enough to cover everything,
good.
And like buy some extra stuff to take down there. Like that was a huge premise of why I sold it too. I was like, 8-week program, all proceeds go to Rwanda, kind of thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So
see, whenever you start giving, people give you, back the universe.
Totally.
If the motive is right,
yeah,
people are willing to. That's super cool.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like. The first day that I got to Rwanda, that whole trip, that whole time I was down there, the only way that I can describe it is like, number one, like you just see God when you're down there, like through the people, through it's just the environment. And I got pissed drunk on the flight down there.
On the way there?
On the way there to Amsterdam, they were giving out free bottles of
Rwanda,
wine.
I'm here!
Yeah, they were giving out free bottles of wine. I got so stoned before I left the airport. I'm like,
okay.
screw it. Like,
You're having a good time.
Yeah. And they were giving out free wine. I ended up like sitting next to this chick that I used to work with at Joey's. And we just like had mini bottle wine after wine after wine after wine. I ended up leaving my passport on the plane from Calgary to Amsterdam, and I'm waiting to get on this plane to Kigali. And I'm like, oh.
And you left it on the plane?
I don't have my passport. And this chick, the leader of my trip, her name's Kelly, she was like, Amy, like, I'm not gonna wait for you. Like,
so you gotta stay in Amsterdam.
Like, I'm gonna get on that plane. Like, I can't stay here with you. And I'm like, yeah. If God wants me to get on that plane, he'll find a way.
You were already vibing, though.
I was like, what else am I gonna do? Like, I lost my passport. I don't know where it is.
God.
And then all of a sudden, this guy like turns around the corner and he's like, Amy Scragg. Amy Scragg's passport. I'm like, that's me. I'm like, Kelly, God wants me to go.
I guess God made a decision.
God wants me to go.
Wow.
So the first day in Rwanda is the moment that God just started like took my heart and just broke it and put it back together again. And the day one of Rwanda was such like it changed my life forever. It was the day, it was April 4th, and that's the day. Oh,
what is today? Is that tomorrow?
That's coming up.
Yes, I think
so.
It's the second, so
it's the
Thursday.
Second.
Wow, oh my God.
So that was the anniversary of the genocide, which I don't know if you know a lot about the Rwandan genocide, but it's one of the largest genocides that happened in human history. There was over 1 million people murdered in less than 100 days. And so we landed, went to the Genocide Museum, literally started learning about all this stuff, and then they took us to the Catholic compound where the first mass murder happened during the genocide. So what the Hindus did was basically kind of what the Nazis did with the Jews, where they put them in the ghettos, where they could just put them in one isolated area, and so when things started to happen, they could just collectively
in group. Oh my God, it's even hard to say it. I can't imagine, fathom.
And so, yeah,
1 million people
in less than 100 days. It's mind blowing, and the
capacity of evil to kind of penetrate someone's heart.
And the Catholic Church is behind that.
I have no idea about any of this stuff, and
so
most people probably don't.
The Catholic Church funded the Hutu army with machetes and militias and all of that stuff because they saw how much opportunity of power that was there. So anyways, I could get in, that could be like a whole other podcast.
We'll do a different thing. Okay.
But,
so you're there, but you...
Yeah, and so...
In your heart, you felt that this was the right thing. Like
and we got to this compound, and literally they haven't moved any of the bodies. So there was like bones, teeth, blood spatter 20 years later.
You saw this?
I saw all of this.
Teeth, bones.
Yep. And so we went into this church where all of the bodies were, and it's just like bone piles, clothes, everything. And I just like remember walking around and just feeling so much shame and like just disgust with myself because of how I've been choosing to live my life over the last few years of like, who am I to totally isolate myself from a family that I get to have, where these people literally had that ripped away. And
you saw that you had a choice when they didn't, and your choices were not being...
Yeah, and like, it was just such like a life-changing moment for me where, and as the trip went on, I was there for like, I think a month, just hearing people's stories and meeting people and like the kindness and the love that they showed us, even after like this huge event has happened to them. All that they have is love for other people. Like, you'll see men holding hands down the street with each other, not like in a, in that way. Yeah. Not
You didn't want to say it. Not in the...
you know, that way. But like...
out of an expression of love for each other.
Yeah, because they just want to like maintain connection.
And I do love...
Yeah,
there's
like a
there's a
friendship
thing about
love.
holding a hand.
Yeah,
Do you,
a friendship love.
I saw your very nice ring. You remember holding your husband's like hand for the first time?
Oh yeah, I remember kissing him for the first time.
You do? Do you remember
yeah,
this?
yeah.
I do remember what with my wife, like the first time we actually held hands, and we talk about that story because it was weird. We held it, and then nobody said anything. We just like kept on walking as if we've been doing it forever.
How old were you guys? When you guys
she was
first
19.
Met? Ooh, okay. All right, I see you. I see you.
I was 29.
Okay, good. I see you. Hey, good for you, my guy.
I did good. I did
Good
real
for
good.
you.
She's a beautiful.
Oh, she's
outside.
stunning. I saw your guys' wedding photos. I was like, dang, I wish we got invited.
She's gorgeous, but inside, angel. I do want to invite you guys because you guys have like kind of the same, just faith, entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I see that you guys are doing multiple things. Like, yet here we are at a lawyer conference. You know, like this is not really what we do.
Yeah.
But we do this in order for us to fulfill the purpose.
This is what funds the business right now.
Yeah. This is really like we're doing this and we can do that. And,
my mindset going into this conference, I'm like, hey, I need one sale to fund this collection.
We just need one sale. We'll make this happen.
Yeah.
And we'll make, we'll make the way for
God
that.
God is good.
And but I do remember the first time holding hands. I do remember, there is a connection between two people, even when you don't know a person, and you hug them. And I remember going to one of these seminars, and we were doing an exercise, and we had to hug a stranger. And you've been to the Tony Robbins things, and whenever I go to, the Unleash the Power Within or his seminars, I always go without anybody that I know. Like I want to be with complete strangers because you're hugging them, you're giving them the back massage, and then but I remember I've always been whenever I hug, I always just kind of go on this side, and then it was taught to me that when you hug, you want to do it the other side so that your hearts are touching, actually touch, and you feel it. And literally at this conference, I had to hold another man by the heart, and it just then later gets comfortable. It's just, there's something about the energy that the heart is producing that is scientifically proven. The energy that is being released from your heart is order of magnitude greater than the energy in your brain. And it's, how do we explain that, right? How do we explain that other than...
Totally. Because
I call it just divine love. And something big
God
like
made
that.
us for connection. God made us for love, right? It's what the purpose of life is.
Oh, you're speaking my language. Okay, so here's another book for that.
Yeah.
The Proof of Heaven. Have you read that one?
No, I haven't read that one.
I'm gonna start just giving you clip notes of,
please
because you got a long flight. You're gonna have to be reading something. At least get some. But anyways, short version of this book is, this is a Harvard educated brain surgeon, and his father was a Harvard educated surgeon as well, and so they were very science based. They were completely atheist and against religion. And people, going full circle to what we were talking about at the very beginning, I've never died and come back. Well, I don't know why, but I morbidly sort of watch people who have died and come back, and I watch
YouTube?
videos all the time.
Yeah, you and my husband would be really good friends. He watches screwed up shit on YouTube too.
Not morbid, but if I tell you what is it like to be on top of Kilimanjaro? Well, unless you've actually been there.
Hey, you've done that.
I did it.
Yeah.
But so that's why I can tell you. I can read about it. I read the books and everything. But now that I was there, I can actually tell you. So I can't tell you what happens when you die. So then I look for people who have died and come back. So anyways.
What do they say?
This doctor, people who have died on his table all the time. And then people would come back and say what they thought, and God and love, and the doctor would be like, no, you were under anesthesia, there's no way you could did this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, he gets this very, very extreme virus attack into his brain, and he goes in a coma, I think for 7 or 10 days, whatever it is, and so he dies. And the day that they were gonna unplug him from death, boom, he comes back, and now he has to learn how to speak and talk, because he was brain dead. And not only can he talk and move, he wrote this book, and now he's changed his life. But to the core of the entire book, and I'll spoil it if you haven't read it, go read it, but this is amazing. But the point of the entire book and his experience with dying or going to coma and meeting Source, God, comes back, he says it is unconditional love. He said once you realize that this right here is not the real world.
It's
the
not.
real world is what comes after. The colors are vibrant there. The emotions are bigger. The feelings, like everything is more clear. It's like if you're squinting, it's kind of blurry, and all of a sudden you put like 4K HD sunglasses, and that's how he describes it. It just pales in comparison to what is later. Don't you find that like fascinating?
Our brains weren't designed to be able to comprehend what heaven is. It says in the Bible, we cannot, as humans, we cannot comprehend what comes next.
But it feels cool to try. But
totally.
But the whole thing is like you were saying, like it's unconditional love, like the whole force and everything. So that's the whole point of the book, that he has a proof of heaven, and it is this. And so now he starts writing from a doctor, brain surgeon point of view, what actually happened, because he would read his medical records and be like, there's no way I could have been feeling, talking, and he walks you through the entire journey. It's an awesome book. Awesome book. I can't even remember who recommended it to me.
You're gonna have to text that to me, 100%.
I'll text you like a
list, bullet point list. But
100 years that we live here, 80 years, 100 years. It's a tiny speck
tiny speck
on life itself.
And like, so this is one of the biggest reasons why I'm starting the Promise Collection. And like,
let's get into that.
Is like, I know that my life is just meant to serve in such a bigger way, and in such more of a complete way, that like my job, I've been in the legal industry now since I was 22. I moved back from Rwanda, and
Is this your first job?
This is my first job.
You've only worked at the job that you have right now?
I've only done Broughton Partners. Yeah, and I've never printed out a resume either. Like, I just kind of forced myself into the position. I was like, I'll work for you guys for free because this sounds amazing and so cool.
Yeah, how did you get into that? Like, what? No resume? Like, how did you meet them? Like,
I had an internship out of university. Actually, when I met Ashley, I was hosting the Canadian Fit Fest. I was interning for them with this
Canadian Fit Fest.
Yeah, it was like the largest Canadian fitness expo that they were trying to start. And so I was interning for this girl named Daria. And anyways, so she started to have me do lead generation for like law firms and doctors' offices, and she basically gave me this project. She was like, I needed to compile like all of the law firms in Canada and the United States. We have like a potential big client that's down in Florida. So I basically spent like 3-4 months creating this list of every single law firm in the United States and Canada. I still have it in my Google spreadsheets of like managing partners' names, email addresses, phone numbers.
That was your first?
And like in every single like state and province. And so they fly us down to Florida. She's like, okay, we got to go to Florida. I thought I was going there on like a one-way ticket. So I only bought a one-way ticket, thought I was going there for the weekend. And Steve Smith picks us up from the airport. And I'm like, first time by myself in the States. Like, I'm 22 years old, like, just, you know, lived in a bubble until like now. And he like took us to this fancy ass dinner with like a couple of these other lawyer guys, me thinking that like they were so interested in like the sheet that I made. And you know, we talked about it for a couple minutes, and then all kind of gearing up to the dinner, we were there for, you know, 3 or 4 days. I just hear Steve on these sales calls talking about like these $100,000 campaigns, these $500,000 campaigns.
It's weird when
but
you
it was
hear
during
it like that,
InvoCana. Do you remember InvoCana, the tort InvoCana?
No, I don't.
Like
I don't think I've been in this industry as long as you have.
Oh, okay. Well,
definitely
like,
not. Not
people
I don't think
are missing
sure
like toes and fingers taking this drug. What's going on? Oh,
it's Vegas.
He looked comfortable, actually.
This is the part of the show where the Las Vegas Strip becomes its own character.
It becomes crazy.
What
Was that a clown? He just had
I
a
think he had a COVID mask, but only over the nose.
Listen,
It
you
was
can
like
only
this.
catch COVID up your nose.
Yeah, if you inhale it through your mouth, you can't.
You can lick doorknobs now, but
Oh my
if you sniff
God.
them, you're done.
This guy has a teddy bear on his.
That's okay. It's his
Card.
friend. His friend needs to.
You know what? I want next for the next season,
sheesh.
we're gonna start having cameras on the outside because
Are you
people can see.
ADD?
Huh?
Are you ADD?
God, probably.
Yeah, I'm neurospicy too. I'm ADD. Shit.
I'm just moving. I'm like, what is going on? We go from one thing to the other, But it's kind of hard to not like. Cause I'm trying to drive, but then I see things, and then I'm like scratching my head about like what's going on the outside. Like, what are these people thinking?
Oh yeah. 100%.
So that's what happens when you're filming on the Las Vegas Strip.
I forget what we were even. Oh yeah, Steve Smith.
Yeah, you're talking about.
So
how
anyway, so yeah, Invocana made people lose their limbs, or
Okay.
not limbs, but like fingers and toes. And so like I'm hearing this Steve guy like close these deals, but it was Invocana. He's like, no, he was missing 3 toes, like 150,000 a case, like da 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 da. I'm like, is this guy like in the mafia or something like that? Like,
Because it's weird.
like, I was
these
like,
big
but I was
numbers,
like,
right?
Yeah, but also too, I'm like 22 and literally, you know, can't even rub 2 cents together in my name, and I was like, this is a lot of money.
Mhm.
And so I said to him, I was like, Steve, I want to work for you. Like, teach me what you do. I will work for you for free for like 6 months. Teach me what you do. If you love me, keep me. If you hate me, send me back to Canada. And like, and so that was.
See, that's entrepreneur in you.
Well, yeah,
That's
I was like,
hey, I want to learn.
Yeah, and so my first conference was Mass Torts Made Perfect.
The one that we're here
The
for
one that
Las
we're-
Vegas.
Yeah, it was in the Wynn, and they put me in. I think it was this crap hotel. I can't remember.
Did you close a deal?
Like MGM. Oh no, I didn't even know like what I did for the first 6 months of what I. Yeah, I remember like it was like boiler room status on. Steve rented like a little office space in Fort Lauderdale, and me and Derry would drive to that little office space. I would get dressed up in like my fanciest clothes and just like dial phone numbers all day long. Nice. And dial phone numbers all day long. Like I made like 80, 90 calls a day, and if I got a lawyer, when I would get a lawyer on the phone, I would be like, oh, just one moment, please. I'm going to get the president of Amicus on the phone. Like, would pause my whole button and yell, Steve, like, Chris.
So that was your job. Call,
and
get people.
run into the room and unmute it. Hello, this is Steve Smith, president of Amicus. And that's
cool.
like how we started out. And, you know, I've just been so blessed, you know, to see the company grow and evolve.
So you've been there like for a while too, like doing
since like
part
the
of the
beginning.
growth. Yeah.
We were I think a year old when I.
So are they putting you in a better hotel now?
Yes. Which I had zero idea. Like I was so oblivious at 22. Like
Of the opportunities or of the growth? or
No,
what?
just like what the position actually was that I was walking into. Like.
Well, I think you created even more opportunities as you were in it.
Well,
right?
I thought that this Daria chick had like this whole business behind her. Turns out she was like 2 years older than me and just trying to figure shit out, where I thought like she had this whole business that I was working for her for.
So she didn't have shit.
She didn't have shit. We lived in an an apartment in Fort Lauderdale and Oakland. I lived on an air mattress for like 6 months. I had like 3 plastic
I did that
plates.
too.
Our neighbor felt so bad for us. He let me have his bike so I could like go bike to the gym. And like, you know, we just like figured it out. I built websites to like make money on the side until I got like a sale from Broughton, and yeah.
And look at you now. You're filming your own content for your own
for my own
fitness clothing line.
Yeah.
Tell me about the name and tell me how that came about.
The Promise Collection.
People say hello.
Yeah, I feel like
It's only when people realize that we're filming.
I feel like I've tried to tell this story like 3 times on this episode. And we should. Okay, so the Promise Collection. The more that I'm diving in deeper into my faith, like the more I'm discovering all of these God-given promises that He's given to every single one of us. God, when
Down the Bible.
They're in the Bible. When you dig more into this relationship and what it means to walk intimately with him, God promises a life of, you know, an expectation of life when we are, you know, when we serve him. And I've just become so enamored, and I want to use the word obsessed with, like, discovering what those promises are. And, you know, I've just been so humbled by his grace and his love that I just want to, like, share that with other people. And with the clothes that we have, the Promise collection, each collection is based off of a theme of promises that God gives to us. So, like, the first collection is going to be called Conquering Giants. And, like, you know, when we give our faith to God, or our problems to God, and we just fully surrender and trust and have faith that he's going to see us through in those things, God provides. And I've just been so blessed by that. And so all of the clothes have verses of the promises sewn into the seams of the clothes. And so when you put these clothes on, it's like putting on those promises physically.
The armor of God.
Yeah, of God on you, and you are wearing those things, right? Like, you're...
But on the inside, right?
Yeah,
so it's not on the outside,
no.
people see it. It's on the inside, because you don't need to be show boasting and talking.
It's like literally like right in the seams, and you can like flip it over and like read it. Yeah.
Are you wearing your own clothes right now?
No, not right now.
Well, were you guys wearing in the photo shoot? Those were it.
Those were all my clothes.
And inside of those, it had a promise.
Yeah.
And it had, like, obviously you read the Bible so you get those promises. Like, how are you selecting the ones that speak to you? Or
so like this first collection is like a series of, you know, God is within her, she will not fall. That's Psalms 26 verse 5, I think. Don't quote me on that. Or like,
we'll put it here.
or Isaiah Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Like, you know, when you walk into a meeting or a situation or you know, even into like any kind of life event like that, knowing that, your confidence drastically changes. Like, rejection is God's protection, right? Like, deals, meetings, diagnoses, any kind of giant that you're trying to conquer, and you just get this overwhelming feeling of anxiety and fear, you can label that as that's not from God. That's like some kind of enemy trying to knock me off my game. But when you have the word of God literally etched in your heart, you can tap into that, remind yourself where your true power comes from and where your true strength comes from, and that just gives you like the hope and the determination to push through, right? Like, and I think that's why I have the faith that I do, is because, like, I can't get through hard situations on my own. I have tried.
Why would you?
I have tried. I have fallen on my face. I have eaten shit. I have literally done that rinse and repeat over and over again. And like I said before, like, God is so gracious that he'll keep giving you situations until you figure it out. Like, you know, it's like burning your hand on a hot stove. Like, don't do that. It'll hurt.
Coming back, yeah.
Don't do that. It'll hurt. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, kind of thing. So, you know, that's just and I'm so passionate about that. That's not what selling Mass Torts is going to do for me.
But you know, that's a vehicle. It's a
vehicle. It's a vehicle. And I love what I do in the Mass Tort space. I love my clients. Like, I really do truly believe that, Broughton Partners and a lot of other these companies, like, truly do care about
helping other people,
the claimant at the end of the day, and aligning them with firms that are actually going to be able to fulfill the mission, not just the ones that are trying to make $1 at the end of the day. And like, in this space, you can attest to this, like, there is so much greed that has overtaken our industry, where we really are the Davids versus Goliaths in this whole system, but we are becoming a Goliath ourselves. And like, there's just so much need for change in our industry and where we're going, and people just need to be reminded of that. And so I think that's honestly one of the purposes that God has put me in this industry for, is to start like the conversation about that. And it's just to kind of create that unity again, because it has become such divided within our industry.
A lot of competition, a lot of ego.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the day, it just hurts the claimants at the end of the day. Look at Camp Lejeune.
So
we can't really get too much detail into that, but like, you know.
But you're here saying that maybe you are here
mind.
now in this industry so that you can start planting the seed of your purpose. How'd you come up with the name?
The Promise Collection?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and the idea of literally embroidering the promises, you know, that's a great idea.
It is a great question. I think I was like, we've talked about it. I've always had a passion for fitness. I got so hurt by the fitness industry when I was younger that like I had to leave and start creating like a healthy relationship with myself and my body and my food and like my outlook, which is why I left. But at the end of the day, it's like what I evolved my life around. And so I actually was going to start my own sunscreen line. And so I started like building the brand for a sunscreen line. It was called Chica Coco. Somebody can take that. The branding is so cool. You can
give that away.
You can buy the URL for me. And then when I was like building it and starting to test out products, and I was like, why am I doing this for this? Like,
so you've always been busy, like doing other stuff in addition to.
I'm ADD, dude. Like, I'm neurospicy. Like, I am neurospicy. I literally can't focus on just one thing. It would probably be the best decision. That's like literally all that my team tells me. They're like, Amy, just focus on one thing. I'm like, I can't.
No, you got. I mean, I literally named my company in motion. It's not in static.
Yeah.
Like I literally have to be doing something. Literally, this podcast because this podcast idea came about from going and filming multiple podcasts and having guests over at my office, or me going somewhere else. But it was always like set stationary, and when you're doing an hour or two or plus, like just sitting down, I get just bored. I'd rather just have some conversation and movement. And then we get these random breaks by just looking around what's going on in here.
Who does this? Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld does cars and coffee or something like that.
Cars and coffee. Comedians and coffee.
Comedians and coffee.
Comedians and coffee.
Well,
it's a great idea.
We do entrepreneurs and energy drinkers. Now, I got my Bang Radical Skedaddle. Like, who approved this flavor?
Fizz free. Who approved it? Probably the.
Who named it? I mean, it's good. I'm not knocking. I love Bang. I mean,
the guy who owns Bang is like what? Like this. Anyways.
Didn't they just sell to Monster or something like that?
Probably. One of my friends used to be an influencer for them. Colin Main's plug.
Drop the name.
Yeah, but like the dude is like 60 years old who used to own Bang, and he would just like hire all of these hot fitness influencers and just have all of these parties of just like these hot fitness
chicks. Did you get called?
No, heck no. No.
I mean, it seems like, you know, you were a competitor. You liked it.
Yeah, yeah. For like a year. Oh boy, yeah. But it's but yeah, that dude's crazy. Who used to own it? I
didn't know if he doesn't own it anymore. But anyways, like
Radical Skedaddle.
They have random names.
It's
it
great
works.
branding though.
So yeah, the idea of this whole thing came about of doing something different. Literally, we're in motion. We're moving. But have you ever seen also like carpool karaoke? Like, I've had some guests.
Yeah.
Were you in it?
Yeah. Well, not on like the TV show, but like there's this guy in Miami who has.
Did you sing? Can I find something?
Oh
for
yeah,
you?
I think Jenny has a photo or a video of me.
Let me see if
belting.
I know that, see, I did it last time with one of the guests. She loved like doing karaoke and singing. And,
Oh, I hate karaoke. I'm not going to sing. I need like tequila before I do karaoke.
well, I don't have tequila for you.
Well, yeah.
There's a karaoke here somewhere.
Yeah, karaoke.
Oh, karaoke. There you go.
Karaoke. I told you I'm not doing it though. I can't. I can just save your
We'll just do like a
viewers
voice. We'll do like a voice. And people here like they sing. They get in the car. There was one time where these guys were riding bicycles, and one dude just literally just grabbed onto the car and started riding the bike on one
This
wheel.
one?
Yeah.
What?
And I was like, what the fuck?
What are you
And
doing?
all of a sudden I turn around and the big wheel is like spinning right here. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So there's so many things that have happened, and you know, we just listen to music sometimes. There's always like, this podcast is very like whatever
Chill.
comes around. We've got the buzz right now, killing the vibe.
Oh yeah, the
Closes.
Canucks play tonight versus the Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you a hockey guy?
Well, I used to live in LA, a block away from the Kings, so like that was like
So cool.
my and then when I moved to LA, within 2 weeks that's when they won the Stanley Cup. So like I immediately like jumped on the
So good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Vegas, and then Vegas it's a huge, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
I have to be a Calgary Flames fan because it's just like where I grew up, but
Okay,
like
so that's where you grew up in.
they're awful. Oh my god.
Are they a bad team? They don't-
Awful. Awful. They like got rid of our best players this year. Like Chuck is gone.
Is that your
Monahan
favorite sport?
Well, yeah.
What else
to
is
watch. Like football season, like you Americans and your football, like I can't.
I'm not American, but sure.
Well,
I was born in Mexico. Did you know this?
Yeah. No, I did know this. Where in Mexico were you born?
Guadalajara,
Guadalajara.
the
Okay.
land of mariachi and tequila.
I love tequila. I can no offense or anything. Like if there is a mariachi band that plays in a restaurant, I physically have to get up and leave.
And you get, oh, you don't like mariachi at all?
Bang my head through a wall. Like I can't. I literally can't.
Is it because you've had some, hello?
Because they just blow it right.
People are like flying, hello,
They
yeah,
like-
we're filming.
I'm famous.
All these people are waiting.
No, like literally, I cannot do it. I don't know why. It like it's like anxiety.
Do you correlate it with a bad tequila shot day? Or it's just
No,
like the
I
music?
think it's like because they're like
trumpet?
yeah. I think it's because they're playing it right in my ear.
Oh, well, yeah,
And
that'll do it.
my husband will like bring them over and be like mariachi man. And I'm like,
Wait, are there mariachis in Canada?
no. I
When
live
you
in
were-
Mexico half time.
What part of Mexico? We haven't got to this part. Where in half of Mexico do you live?
So we have a condo in San Jose del Cabo, and then we have one in Playa del Carmen.
What?
Yeah, we do Airbnbs.
Let's get into that. We got like 10, 15. What the hell? All right, so tell me about your real estate experience.
My real
Amy,
estate
why are you keeping some
experience.
secrets? All right.
Okay, so
So people are just cutting me off.
I mean, it's like my dad. It all boils back to my dad. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, get into real estate as quick as you can.
Okay.
What
What was your first property?
Calgary, my townhouse in Calgary.
Oh, yeah,
That was like my first investment that I ever did from Broughton. Like my first commission check went into a down payment for actually
What is it? Is it a house?
it's a townhouse.
How many bedrooms?
It has 2 en suites. It's right next to a brand new hospital
Okay.
and like the largest YMCA in North America.
What did you pay for it?
I paid $320 for it.
Okay.
It's
What is it worth now?
$440.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Canadian.
good.
Canadian.
Well, I don't know what that means. But
Like basically
less?
slash it in half. Yeah, I really got in at the perfect time.
That's good.
Um,
So after that, what was the next one?
So it was right before COVID hit, and I put on my vision board for that year, like I want to own a property internationally. And
Did you?
rewind 2 years,
Uh-huh.
when Scott graduated, my husband, from engineering, I took him to San Jose del Cabo in Mexico for like a celebration trip. Right
Had
there.
you been there?
No.
You just fucking say, let's go to
San Jose.
Cabo.
Yeah. Well,
Most
I
people
went there
just
when
go
I was.
to Los Cabos, but you went to San Jose Cabo.
I went there when I was like super young with my family. When I was like 14, we stayed at Vedanta, which is now like right down the street from my house. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so we rented this place, brand new building. We rented this unit for like 2 weeks, and then fast forward 2 years, it's like the it's like, I don't know, maybe we're 3 months into COVID, and I'm like searching up on the MLS just for fun, and I see our same unit that we stayed in for sale.
No.
And I'm like,
Okay, that's the universe.
it's a sign. It's a sign. And so I'm like, I'm gonna buy it. I looked at who my now is husband. He was like my boyfriend at the time. I'm like, I'm buying this condo. And he's like, what? I'm like, we're done.
How do people, like, how does someone from Canadian buying property in Mexico, like, people are probably gonna, like, because I get that question asked all the time, oh, well, you're Mexican, you can buy a paper in Mexico, but how did you do it?
So you need a fideicomiso, which is basically like
Trust.
yeah, a trust from the government. So how the government brings outside money into Mexico is through fideicomisos, which is like a 99-year trust from the government.
Mm-hmm.
You can pass it down from your family, but that's how foreign people are allowed to own property in Mexico. And so, yeah, I like messaged the agent. We didn't even go down there and look it up. I just messaged the real estate agent online. I was like, I want to buy this. And so I think we bought it for...
You just straight up gangsta message them and be like, I want to buy this?
So, yeah, so I have a business in Florida. That's like how I work down here.
I see, okay, so through
yeah.
an LLC in Florida?
Yes. And so
Interesting.
I bought the condo through the LLC in Florida, which sucks, by the way. Like, I would never do that whole Florida thing again, because the state of Florida is like outdated by 20 years. They still don't accept email. They accept, yeah, I have to like physically go down there.
Right. Are you serious?
I have to physically go down there and get like my license notarized and physically mail in my papers to are
you using feathers for the ink? And,
yeah, right?
Dip it
yeah,
down
like
and...
cut my hand open and seal it with blood. Yes.
That's crazy. So did they accept your first offer?
Yeah, they accepted my first offer, so you have to pay all cash. There's no...
How are you making money? Is it from
funding.
your company? From where you work right now? Is that where you get...
partners, yeah.
That bought your condo?
Yeah, I sell my soul to corporate America. Like, my soul is...
I didn't know you did this well.
Yeah, well, like,
that's
grind.
Amazing.
I grind.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
save. I didn't... Yeah, and so that was...
Well, most people think like, oh, this just happens. No, like people... Tony Robbins says people are getting rewarded in public for what they practice in private for years.
And also my husband owns an e-commerce company as well, and he does well. So
but you first bought it on your own.
Yeah.
That one was on your own.
Yes, and then we were able to buy...
Then you guys got married, and then
we got married, else? And then, yeah, so I'll get to that. But, yeah, so we were able to lock that property in, but it took like 6 months to close because... Oh, cool.
Oh, shit, we gotta film that.
Get a video. Get a video.
There's like a chopper.
Oh my gosh. Is that a police officer?
What?
Oh my gosh, that's Hulk.
Dun, 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 dun,
What?
Dun, 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 dun,
Is that the army?
I don't know, but that's fucking cool.
That's so cool.
Alright, so this will go on the reels.
It's like a movie. Oh my goodness.
You see what I'm talking about? Like, just doing this? We're talking about real estate in Mexico. All of a sudden, like the fucking Rambo helicopter.
Everybody calm down. It's all gonna work out fine. I'm upset. Oh, that chick has like rhinestones in her car. That's cool.
Oh my god. No,
I'm trying to hug your horn. I just wanted to join in.
I don't even know what's going on over here, but these people are clearly like cutting us off.
They're upset.
Yeah, alright.
These people are dumb. Anyways, yeah, so the state of Florida screwed up our notarization. So after we mailed in all of the... Okay, everybody, we get it. It's nothing gonna change anything.
Is that fire? What's coming out of the building?
What is happening? This is crazy.
Let me lower them so people can hear it. This is what we can hear, people.
You can't do anything.
There's like 10 cars in front of us.
I mean, yeah, it's fun.
Oh my god. Well, listen, if we... What's that? If we get attacked, there's cameras. There's evidence.
They're like cussing me out. I'm like, I'm cussing people out for you. Why are you cussing me out? Anyway, she had purple hair.
She matched the car.
Yeah, that's why she was freaking out.
Yeah, she's probably just being, oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah. So, anyways, the state of Florida is such a pain in the butt to deal with because if they screw up like a notarization, we had to mail all of this paperwork into the state of Florida, and the apostle either like approves or denies it. And so it got denied the first time, so I had to fly back to Florida, redo the whole process over again. So it took like 6 months to close this place. So, but yeah, that's how you own. That's.
She's talking to you. What?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, they're gonna block us off again. I think that's what she's saying.
Oh, well. But yeah, so that's how we own property down in Mexico.
So you did it through that one. Then you guys got
Yeah.
married, and then you bought a second property.
So we got engaged in Maroma and Playa del Carmen, and then that was like the height of COVID. And so Canada was basically all shut down. So we were like, why would we go back to Canada? So instead of flying back to Canada, we just ended up extending our trip down to Playa and ended up staying there for like 6 months. And so...
Are those the two places that you know from Mexico?
Yeah. And so my husband found this pre-built property that this guy fell through his second payment from.
Uh-oh, it's gonna happen again.
And so, so this guy fell through on his second payment for this pre-build. So we were, whoa, the Tesla! And so...
I like doing that with the guests. When they don't expect it.
Well, good job, you did it. And so, yeah, we were able to lock down our place in Playa for a pre-built price on like a fully built condo.
How long does it take to build somewhere over there?
Oh, God.
Is it renting right now? Like, do you have it?
Yeah. My Calgary property is the best performing rental property that we have.
Your Calgary.
Yeah.
So the other ones, are you Airbnb-ing them?
Yeah.
Or do you have them? Okay,
we Airbnb, and then we also have this chick that like does it kind of like on her personal, kind of like under the table.
Like on her stuff? Okay.
Yeah. So she rents it to like all of her high-end clientele, which is awesome.
It's a nice place?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our one in Playa is like a brand new building. There's 4 towers. They are all connected by this rooftop pool. It's stunning.
It's just one condo that you own in there?
Yeah, it's just one. We just have
one room or 2 rooms?
It's 1 room. It's like a little...
If I want to go with my wife.
Yeah.
My wife. How much?
My wife.
Very nice. What do you rent it for?
I mean...
Because you rent it long term or short term?
Long term and short term. Yeah, it depends in the season. Like obviously in December.
I've never been to...
Playa?
Yeah.
Oh my
Which
gosh.
is insane.
Yeah, it's like a party city. Which is why I don't go there. We'll rent it for like $120 a night.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
No, it's super, super cheap. And then like during the summer months in Cabo and in Playa, we'll, you know, lower the price because it's so hot down there.
Yeah, most people from... So I have a...
Oh, what? That's cool.
Yeah, the people on the screen, it
Damn.
shows everybody. I own a condo in Manzanillo, and it's right by the beach.
Excuse me.
And people who rent it, it's Canadians that come November, December, January, February.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really how it works. Like, they're trying to escape the winter.
Yeah. My husband and I are totally snowbirds. For sure.
So now you have properties that are increasing in value. You're renting them. This is why it's so busy, because there's that game you're talking about.
Oh yeah, Canucks. The hockey game. Yeah, it's a hockey game.
We got a hockey game in the house.
Oh,
Let me show you.
fun. Yeah, I haven't been to a hockey game in forever. Like, the Flames are doing so bad this season that, like, my buddy was giving away 4 hockey tickets and nobody even wanted to claim them because they're just so bad.
Is that who's playing today?
Today is the Canucks. Canucks is Vancouver.
Listen, my knowledge in hockey is very limited to the Kings and the Knights, the 2 cities where I've lived.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
Now I want to know more, but I just have limited. Am I going? Okay, thank you.
My goodness, this is chaotic.
Wow, that So something, huh?
Yeah. So do you and your wife want kids? Is that like in the near future or?
I wouldn't say near future. I didn't want him, and then she wanted, but she was so young.
19.
But now. Well,
How old is she now?
We weren't married when she was 19.
I know that.
Or anything.
I'm just yanking your chain.
But we've been together for 11 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
She's not 19 now.
19, 29, so she's 30.
She just turned 30.
I math well.
Your mathing is mathing.
My mathing's mathing.
Your math is mathing. I turned 40 on St. Patrick's Day.
You're 40? What?
What's with the face?
I can't believe you're 40. I thought you were like 32.
I'll take it. I'll
take it all day long.
I think it's the dancing.
Yeah,
or
dancing,
the
great
good
skin
heart.
hair.
That's
Yeah.
it. But so, no, because if I was 32, she'd still be 22. That means if I met her for 11 years, that means she would have been 11. Oh my
Listen, God has blessed me with a creative brain, not
you.
an analytical brain.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
So I've literally seen her go from a
Yeah,
teenager. Oh my God, it sounds so weird. To a beautiful
So-
woman.
that's
She was 19.
Yeah.
So now that
I've seen her evolve.
yeah, and so she's. I mean,
Yeah.
when she met me, I was sleeping on an inflatable bed. I had no car, no job. But I got fired. I think I had a job and I got fired. And it was like, talk about dark times. There were some dark times too in that time.
Yeah.
You know, the first 5 years that she met me, it was all about parties and parties for me. And when you're 19, she's also partying.
Yeah.
But we don't do any of that stuff. Like now we just travel the world. We're doing the Way of St. James. I don't know if you know the Camino Compostela. It's a spiritual walk that you start in France, and it takes 30 days, and you get to the end of Spain. You walk for 100 days. Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry,
That sounds gorgeous.
But I also, you know, it's a spiritual healing thing. But I also don't have that much going on in my life that I need to walk for 30 days. So so there's a half route where you start in Portugal and you end in Spain, at the tip of Spain, and so we're doing this in June, in a couple of months.
Really?
And
that sounds so cool.
Amazing. Look it up. It's a spiritual.
Do you speak during it? Or is
I mean,
it
you
silent?
can, but you only stay in places where people welcome you, and you're not supposed to pay where you stay. They stay you, and you.
Gorgeous.
You go to these places, and they give you a passport.
Yeah.
And then they stamp to make sure that you're doing the walk. And at the end of the walk, if you finish your 100 miles or whatever it is, I don't even know where this is taking me. But
Where are we going? Oh, to your party?
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what is it? I guess I can't jump over the freeway.
No.
So you just walk from one end to the other, and you walk for
That's really cool.
2 weeks this time around.
That's
and
really
it's gonna be
cool.
really beautiful. So we've been planning this for many years, and then the year that we're going in 2020, COVID happened, and then in that time I started the company, and now my life is in a very different place where it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I own companies, and our life is much better. And
Did you just start making your success 5 years ago?
yeah, I mean, I literally, when I met her, I was sleeping on an inflatable. I had no job. Like,
man,
no foot in the
inflatables
fridge.
are where it's at. Listen, if you're listening to
but-
this podcast and you're sleeping on an inflatable bed, you are starting off right.
There's still a future for you if you're in the
gonna
inflatable.
do big things with your life on that air mattress.
You're right where you need to be now.
Yes.
You don't even know where God's gonna take you in the
Amen.
future. But
Yeah.
no, that thing would pop every 3 months because I got the cheapy Target version for like $30 a month. You know, $30 a thing. So after that, like, I started the company, the business, and then it grew, and I went from like $7 to like 7 figures on the 12 months.
Wow.
It was like a big change.
Wow.
Super crazy. But I'm always fascinated of like people who try different things. So you're doing your fitness, but you have a job, but you're also doing real estate, and then you guys got married. Where'd you guys get married?
Akumal.
Is that in
Mexico.
Yucatan?
Yeah, it's like right in between Tulum and Playa del Carmen.
Do you like Tulum?
No.
No? I've
No.
never been either.
Oh my gosh, no. I will.
People always talk about how beautiful it is and everything. Is it because it's a party town and you
It's a
don't like
party
that?
town. It's so underdeveloped. The cartel is so bad there.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. It's just you know, it's way, way, way too hype, and my Instagram feed comes to life, and I'm like, nope, you can stay in a digital world, thank you.
Let's see
Yeah.
there we go. I like Tulum, but only from what you see, and I've learned from living now this sort of like social media stuff that that the social media can mislead you.
Mislead, yeah. And that's like my biggest, I want to say, anxiety starting this new business, like the Promise Collection. Having a fitness brand, you need to, in order to see a lot of success in it, you have to build a personal brand, right?
We'll talk into that. So
Yeah.
when I started my Instagram, the Insta Chava, like I've only started for less than 2 years. In June was my first post. Before that, I had just 2 single pictures in an entire year. So I wasn't doing social media, and then I posted one thing. It kind of got a lot of attention, even though it was a joke. I posted as a joke. I was with my phone, like literally leaving the gym. I was sitting in the car, sweaty, whatever. And I was like, all right, to all my 7 followers that are actually watching this, I want to become an influencer.
And went viral.
And that one like sort of popped off, and then I did it again the next day. Now I got over 200,000, and as it's grown, I got into these rooms here in Vegas. There's a lot of big influencers here and all this shit, and they basically said like, don't grow your business brand, grow your personal brand.
Yeah.
Because your business is either gonna go broke, or you're gonna sell it, or you're gonna move, or whatever it is. But if you grow Chava, next business that Chava grows, people will be in it. If you want to sell a book, people will come in here. If you want to do this, people are gonna come in. So what I just saw today, that you're growing like your personal brand to 4,000 in just 2 months. That's amazing. That's exactly what you need to do, because people want to buy into you.
Yeah.
You know how they say like you bet on the jockey, not the horse.
Yep. Yep.
And they want to resonate with you. They want to resonate with your brand. They want to resonate with the person who's creating the brand.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like, you know, and obviously that takes a ton of dedication and like a ton of work, and
yeah, it's all worth it at the end.
It's all worth it, yes, for sure. I just, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to balance, like being a good wife, you know, serving time on this personal brand, building the business, building Broughton Partners, like having time for myself. Like, it's like I need to make sure that I don't get too obsessive and too involved in that personal brand platform, because that was one of the biggest that was one of the most toxic things in my life when I was going through all of that, all of my adversities when I was younger. Is like my platform was my prison, and I held so much of my value in what other people thought about me, and like my body and what I did in the fitness space, and like making sure that I was perceived as this like happy, bubbly person online. Like people saw me as like, oh my gosh, her dad just died, like she's in school, she's running these businesses, like she's so positive, where in like the back end scenes of everything, like I was literally falling apart. And like
talking about this exactly, I'll clip it, we'll put something. This is talking about the personal story. See, a personal brand has to have value behind it, and it's literally your story, like this, and what you're sharing, and when you've been graciously sharing like with me, like it's what your audience will resonate. And yeah, obviously you're doing fitness, you have to look good and do fitness stuff, right? If I'm selling paintings because I'm a painter, whatever, like I have to draw and I have to do, you know, my things, and that takes time and skill, and you sharpen it. So when you see it, try not to think back about the prison that it put you. Instead, try to think about you unlocking other people's prisons, because your purpose is to open up the doors for other people to be themselves. And that's how you start viewing it, like, I'm not really taking, it's really about like giving to somebody else. And that changes sort of the perspective, like, okay, well, I'm doing it for others, like people will talk smack, but that's why I have a thing of Troll Thursdays. Every Thursday I just say, trolls, come at me, like you guys are there, let's just go. And it's funny because you start welcoming them, because you know it's gonna happen, and it's whatever.
What kind of trolls are get at you. Like you literally, you're one of the coolest people I know.
They make fun of sometimes sometimes either what I'm wearing or like I don't steam my clothes or your microphone, because I have these fluffy microphones, like your hair looks like that, or like they just talk shit, or like
but
you
you're
really
bald.
don't. I'm not bald. What are you talking about?
You decide just with
Oh,
your hat
well,
on.
I got. Oh, you thought I was bald?
No, I'm
you've
just
seen me.
joking.
I got a haircut today.
I'm a troll.
And is it Thursday? You're trolling on the wrong day, girl.
I don't even know what day it is.
I actually went to my barber today and I had a faux hawk this whole thing. I was like, listen, man, you can't cut the faux hawk off because I'm going to a lawyer conference. It's cool, huh? Well, it changes colors. I don't know if you saw it in the light.
It changes colors?
Yeah,
What other color does it change to?
To like orange to like purple, and those that.
Okay, to Barrie in the middle. Oh, you already been here. You already know where to go.
Yeah.
Go.
Thank you, my friend. It is the colors of the business. So this is a business expense.
Instagram colors. Oh yeah, that's so smart.
So now I have a sticker in the back, and it's the InMotionMG.com. So now it becomes a business expense.
So smart.
So I pay the vehicle with the business, and I have a brand new Tesla every year.
Good for you.
And I've gotten business out of it. So I have a hat, not this one. You guys always see this one.
I'm gonna do that with my future G-Wagon.
I have a hat that says InMotion MG,
Yeah.
or whatever, Motion Media Group, and because my car does stand out and people see it and it's purple. One time I was in LA a few years ago at the beginning of the business, and somebody stopped me and read my hat, and she goes like, do you have a purple Tesla? And I was like, this random person.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why? And she goes like, I've seen your car and then I saw your hat, and I thought, well, long story short, her and I connect. She connects me to somebody else, and that leads to a $250,000 deal.
Wow.
Out of my hat. So I have a reel that says like, this hat made me $250,000, and then people troll think it's not real, but it's like, it's 100% fucking dead on. That's like the best return on my investment.
Yeah. Was a hat, a lucky hat.
Lucky hat. How you doing, sir? All right, well, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Thank you, and thank you, Amy. And any last words? 1 second.
No, thank you for having me on the show. This has been awesome.
You're great.
Well, send me that book list.
I will.
Yeah.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.